47 odcinek.
That's a fine bit of work back there. Truth told, I'm surprised you made it. I'm impressed to say the least, and that's no easy thing. You've secured NCR's future. And we're glad to have you. And whether you're a soldier of the Republic or not, sometimes the Republic gets lost along the way while it's trying to follow its instincts. But when soldiers like you come along, it helps them get back on track and does it by example. And what you've done here today, that's gonna keep us... Of course not. You earned it. Kind of curious how this is going to pan out in the long...
And so the courier who had cheated death in the cemetery outside Good Springs cheated death once again, and the Mojave Wasteland was forever changed. The new California Republic celebrated its second victory at Hoover Dam, establishing definitive control over the entire
Czyli co
Mojave
ze sztonem nic,
Wasteland.
tylko RNK?
Soon after, they negotiated terms to annex the Strip, Freeside, and many surrounding communities. The Mojave Wasteland, at long last, had entirely fallen under the NCR's banner. The courier, fair and even-handed in his dealings throughout the wasteland, was honored by the NCR for his support of the military at Hoover Dam. He was presented with the Golden Branch, the highest civilian decoration given by the Republic.
Tabitha and Rhonda went east, through Caesar's Land. Occasionally, tales of their exploits found their way back west, though few believed them. Eventually, the stories concerning the duo were collected and published, and proved to be quite popular with children.
With the help of the gunrunners, the Boomers developed a healthy trading relationship with the NCR. Eventually, the Boomers began wandering out into the wasteland, while still preventing outsiders from entering Nellis.
Though weakened, the Fiends attacked McCarran during the Second Battle of Hoover Dam. NCR repulsed the attack with minimal losses and, in the following days, destroyed the remaining Fiend leaders, breaking their power forever.
After the NCR's victory at the dam, the followers of the Apocalypse were pushed out of Old Mormon Fort during its occupation by NCR forces. NCR further encouraged them to leave Outer Vegas entirely, and the followers had no choice but to comply.
Good Springs saw more trade along I-15 after NCR gained control of the Mojave Wasteland. But with that came a heavy burden of the Republic's taxes. Some old-timers, unable to handle the cost, were forced to move on, grumbling all the while.
Rose of Sharon Cassidy died as her
No przecież
caravan
my ją
died
zabiliśmy. Znaczy
in
ten...
an unmarked grave, another victim of the Mojave.
Kurwa jak gotyk
After
nie?
generations of being beaten down, the great Khans were finally broken by the courier. Those few who avoided the courier's wrath moved north into the wilderness of Idaho, where they tried once more to rebuild.
Thanks to the courier and Lily, a cure for the Nightkin's schizophrenia was found shortly after Dr. Henry's experiment concluded. Nightkin and other super mutants in the wasteland flocked to Jacobstown, and the town became known as a haven where a mutant could find peace.
Lily continued to take her medicine at half doses, and although she remembered her grandchildren, her mind remained muddled and confused. Eventually, she parted ways with the courier and traveled west, seeking the remnants of her past.
With the king dead and most of their gang slain by the courier, the remaining kings fled the area, never to be heard from again.
Revitalized by Violetta's brain, Rex eventually learned to balance the memories of his old life with Violetta's experiences among the
Ja to
brutal
brałem pod
fiends.
szybkość tak właściwie.
His mind had difficulty adjusting, but Rex eventually found peace with his new, more vicious self.
Shaped up by the courier's advice, the Misfits distinguished themselves during the Legion's attack on Camp Golf. Max was finally promoted to sergeant, and the rest of the Misfits received an official commendation. They continued to serve with distinction for many years.
While the destruction of the Repcon rockets appeared to be a boon to the salvagers of Novak, the benefit would never be realized. Radioactive fuel from the wrecked ships seeped out and contaminated the area. Salvagers were forced to move on, and the town was abandoned.
After Hoover Dam, the leaderless powder gangers at the correctional facility vanished into the wastes, leaving the prison empty. The correctional facility became another abandoned ruin in the wasteland, its carcass occasionally picked over by enterprising prospectors.
Armed with a wide array of improvised explosives and stolen weapons, Vault 19 Powder Gang tormented the Mojave Wasteland for years. Citizens of the NCR were favored
protection and merchant traffic.
And so the Courier's Road came to an end, for now. In the new world of the Mojave Wasteland, fighting continued, blood was spilled, and many lived and died just as they had in the old world. Because war never changes.
Poczekajcie chwilę. Dobra, wracając do sedna tematu, bardzo dziękuję wam za oglądanie tej serii. Kurde, nie jestem koniec końców zadowolony z swojej postaci. Znaczy, rozwinęliśmy ją do maksymalnego poziomu 30, w ogóle nie wiedziałem, że coś takiego jest, prawdopodobnie w DLC-kach. Byłoby to troszkę wyższy poziom. Ultralux zniszczony. Będziemy grać w następne gry. Aktualnie chciałbym w Assassina i Unity. No tak, a wcześniej miałem na Steamie zapisany save z tego, jak Legionowi pomagaliśmy. Dobra, dziękuję wam bardzo za oglądanie. Zapraszam do innych serii. Koniec. Fallout New Vegas, fajna gra.